Old World Elegance, Dressing Like Royalty in Vintage Fashion. Introduction, 100 words. Fashion has been an integral part of human history, reflecting our culture, status, and aspirations. One of the timeless styles that still captivate our imagination is vintage fashion. While fashion trends come and go, the old world elegance and grace of vintage clothing continue to inspire us. In this article, we explore the allure of dressing like royalty in vintage fashion, taking a step back in time to appreciate the sophistication, craftsmanship, and opulence of past eras. The enduring charm of vintage fashion, 200 words. Vintage fashion refers to clothing and accessories that were popular in the past, typically from the 1920s to the 1980s. This era encompasses various styles, each influenced by the social, cultural, and political context of its time. What sets vintage fashion apart is its ability to evoke a sense of nostalgia, transporting us to a bygone era of glamour and refinement. When it comes to dressing like royalty, vintage fashion offers a remarkable array of options. From the elegance of the 1920s flapper dresses to the regal sophistication of the 1950s ball gowns, vintage fashion allows us to channel the elegance and poise of noble figures from the past. By adopting vintage clothing styles, we embody a sense of timelessness, grace, and enchantment. Exploring vintage fashion eras, 600 words, to truly understand the essence of dressing like royalty in vintage fashion, we need to explore the distinct eras that hold the most significance in this context. The 1920s, the Roaring Twenties brought about a revolution in fashion, with women embracing shorter hemlines, loose silhouettes, and intricate beading. The flapper dress became an emblem of independence and rebellion, and its effortless charm has made it iconic in vintage fashion. The 1930s witnessed a departure from the flapper era, with feminine styles prevailing. Bias-cut gowns and full-length evening dresses became popular, exuding elegance, with intricate details like pleats, ruching, and draping dominating the fashion scene. The 1940s, the impact of World War II shifted fashion towards practicality and functionality. Despite the limitations, women managed to create elegant silhouettes through tailored suits, pencil skirts, and structured dresses. The 1940s fashion signifies resilience and resourcefulness. The 1950s, the post-war period saw a return to opulent fashion, with full skirts, nipped-in waists, and luxurious fabrics. This era epitomized femininity and sophistication, evoking the grandeur of royal fashion. The 1960s, the swinging 60s heralded a new era of fashion rebellion, where youth culture and bold experimentation came to the forefront. Mini dresses, vibrant prints, and daring accessories became the epitome of fashion-forward elegance. The 1970s, the 70s brought a bohemian flair, with flowing maxi dresses, bell-bottom pants, and ethnic-inspired prints. This era embraced freedom and self-expression, offering vintage fashion enthusiasts a unique sense of individuality. The 1980s, bold and glamorous, the 1980s were characterized by power dressing, shoulder pads, and neon colors. This decade showcased a strong, confident aesthetic, resonating with those who seek a commanding and regal fashion statement. Embracing vintage fashion, tips and tricks, 400 words. When venturing into the world of vintage fashion, there are a few essential tips to keep in mind to ensure a sophisticated and authentic look. 1. Research, familiarize yourself with the distinct style elements of your desired era to ensure authenticity and a cohesive look. 2. Quality over quantity, invest in high-quality vintage pieces rather than a large quantity of lower-quality items. Focus on Craftsmanship and durability. 3. Condition matters. Carefully examine vintage garments for signs of wear, damage, or alterations. Opt for well-preserved pieces when possible to ensure a polished appearance. 4. Mix and match. Blend vintage pieces with modern elements to create a unique and balanced outfit. This allows personal style to shine through while paying homage to elegance of yesteryears. 5. Accessorize with care. Choose accessories that complement the chosen era. Vintage jewelry, hats, gloves, and handbags can elevate the overall look and add an extra touch of sophistication. Continuing from the conclusion, embracing vintage fashion allows us to stand out from the crowd and showcase our appreciation for the beauty of the past. It is a way to express our individuality and creativity while honoring the craftsmanship and timeless style of previous generations. Whether you're attending a special event or simply want to add a touch of elegance to your everyday look, dressing like royalty in vintage fashion can make you feel like a true queen or king. Moreover, the sustainability aspect of vintage fashion cannot be overlooked. By opting for second-hand pieces, we contribute to reducing waste and the environmental impact of the fashion industry. Vintage fashion allows us to create a more conscious and ethical wardrobe while still looking fabulous. Continuing from the conclusion, it's important to note that carrying oneself with confidence and grace is key to truly embodying old-world elegance. Whether you're wearing a luxurious ball gown from the 1920s or a tailored suit from the 1950s, it's your demeanor and attitude that will truly make the outfit shine. Additionally, exploring vintage fashion allows for a journey through time and a connection to the stories of the past. Each garment carries with it a history and a narrative, allowing us to feel a sense of connection to the individuals who wore them before us. This adds an extra layer of depth and meaning to our fashion choices, elevating them beyond mere clothing. Continuing from the conclusion, it's important to mention that vintage fashion also allows for creativity and personal expression. With a wide range of styles and eras to choose from, individuals can curate their own unique looks that reflect their personality and preferences. Whether it's incorporating vintage accessories, mixing vintage pieces with modern ones, or creating entirely vintage-inspired outfits, the possibilities for self-expression are endless. Furthermore, embracing vintage fashion can also be a sustainable choice. By shopping for vintage clothing, we contribute to reducing waste and minimizing the environmental impact of the fashion industry. Instead of supporting fast fashion trends that lead to excessive production and waste, we can opt for high-quality, enduring pieces with a story to tell. In a world that often celebrates what's new and trendy, vintage fashion offers a refreshing alternative. It allows us to slow down, appreciate the beauty of the past, and embrace a more timeless sense of style. It encourages us to look beyond the surface and value the craftsmanship and artistry that went into creating garments of a bygone era. So, whether you're a history enthusiast, a lover of fashion, or simply someone looking to stand out from the crowd, embracing old-world elegance through vintage fashion is a worthy choice. It's an opportunity to honor the legacy of past generations, express your unique style, and make a positive impact on the world. With vintage fashion, you can dress like royalty and feel like a part of history. Continuing from the conclusion, it's important to remember that vintage fashion allows us to connect with our heritage and appreciate the craftsmanship of the past. By wearing vintage garments, we pay homage to the designers and artisans who created them, keeping their legacy alive. Vintage fashion also provides us with an opportunity to learn about different eras, understand their cultural significance, and gain a deeper appreciation for the history of fashion. Moreover, dressing like royalty in vintage fashion gives us a sense of elegance and sophistication that is often lacking in modern attire. The exquisite fabrics, intricate details, and impeccable tailoring of vintage pieces elevate our outfits, making us feel like true royalty. Whether we choose to emulate the grace and opulence of the Victorian era, the chic and sophistication of the 1920s, or the glamour and glamour of the golden age of Hollywood, vintage fashion offers endless possibilities for creating regal looks. To truly embrace old-world elegance, it's essential to pay attention to the finer details. Accessories play a crucial role in completing a vintage-inspired look. Think embellished hats, delicate gloves, statement jewelry, and vintage-inspired footwear. These accessories add a touch of glamour and authenticity to our outfits, taking them from ordinary to extraordinary. Don't be afraid to experiment with different accessories to truly capture the essence of old-world elegance. When it comes to vintage fashion, fit is paramount. Unlike modern clothing, vintage garments often have unique silhouettes and sizing. Seek out a reputable tailor or alteration specialist who can ensure that your vintage pieces fit you perfectly. This attention to detail will enhance your overall look and give you the confidence to carry yourself with grace and poise, just like royalty.